Hey friends, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about on-camera microphones. Specifically, Sony's newest microphone, the ECM B10, which I've had for a little while and I've been testing out. Let's check it out. First things first, let's get the obvious out of the way. I am a bird and wildlife photographer. However, I've been doing this YouTube thing for about a year and a half and I've made some seriously bad mistakes. The most important thing I've learned is that sound can make or break your video. You can get all of the best footage in the world, but if your sound sucks, people just click off of it. And trust me when I say I've learned that the hard way. There are so many microphones on the market today, from $50 all the way up to, thousands of dollars. You can really kind of get lost in the whole process of trying to figure out which one is right for you. Hang on, let me show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, I get it. That's kind of ridiculous. I know. I can feel you judging me. I've bought a lot of microphones, and the reason I keep buying microphones is because I just want it to be right. I want to have that perfect sound. Owning all of these microphones has taught me something very valuable. When purchasing an on-camera microphone, something that you want above all is for that microphone to be powered. The problem is, when you're looking for a powered microphone, you have to remember to power it. This is the microphone I've been using the most recently. This is the Rode NTG 1. However, every time before I go out, I need to remember to plug it in, make sure that there's power going to it, and if I forget, I'm in a really bad situation, which I'm telling you, I've done that before. I've gotten all the way out there and my microphone just stops working. If you get a microphone that's not powered, you end up with a situation where you end up with noise inside of your footage. It's just not loud enough. You turn up the gain inside of the camera and then the noise sounds a little distorted and it sounds a little soft. So powered microphones is just the key. And I've gone to the extreme on this. I've done XLR microphones like the Rode NTG 5 that needs preamps to it. Just trust me when I tell you, you don't want to be carrying that around with you as you're vlogging. It just doesn't work. So that's why this tiny little microphone is so incredible. So here's a little history. In 2019, Sony released its ECM B10, I think is what it was called, and it was their first on-camera powered microphone. What do I mean by on-camera powered? Well, if you look at the bottom of the foot on this microphone, you see that there's an interesting little connector there. That little connector plugs into the hot shoe on the top of the camera. Here, let me show you. There's the hot shoe, and inside of that hot shoe is a connection. And once you plug this in, you tighten it down, you turn the camera on, boom, you're set up. The microphone is now powered. It's now transmitting the sound through the hot shoe, through a digital signal, down to the camera. No more wires, no more batteries. That's huge. Like I stated, in 2019, Sony announced their first version of this, which was the ECM B10. The difference between the B10M and the B10 is the B10M, first of all, was $350, and second, you see these little capsules on the top of it here. You see 4. The ECM B1M had 8 capsules. So this is a much smaller package. Outside of that, it offers all the same features that the ECM B1M offers. Specifically, your ability to really customize your sound by tinkering with these little switches on the back. Let me walk you through what those switches do.
Okay, first things first, this is a very compact design. It sticks up about 3 inches from the top of the camera, and it's very light. It's just extremely unintrusive. Another cool feature is you don't have this external shock mount. The shock mount is built into the little microphone. That's got its pros and cons, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. Okay, let's talk about these buttons. There's a digital and analog option. I kept it in digital the entire time. I think analog's for the older cameras. And there are these filters. There's the low cut filter, and the NC, I think, stands for noise canceling. Not sure, but I did test that a little bit and I thought it was a pretty cool little feature. Okay, attenuator. Now let me explain that to you. Attenuation is pretty much the opposite of amplification. So if the noises that are coming in are too loud, you just lower it by 10 decibels or 20 decibels. Of course, you have an auto or manual option. I kept it in auto most of the time, but if you put it on manual, you can control the sound by just turning this little dial right here. Overall, it's a well-built little device. The buttons are very easy to click and they're stiff. They stay right where you put them the last time. You don't have to worry about the dial turning on you when you put it in your camera bag. Fantastic little device.
That little switch right there at the top allows me to transition from a shotgun microphone to a cardioid microphone, which gives you a little bigger, like a super cardioid pattern, or you can go to a completely omnidirectional pattern. This is fantastic if you want a shotgun microphone where you're just talking to the camera and you don't want any of that back noise. If you want to interview a group of people, maybe there's 2 or 3 people standing next to each other, a larger cardioid pattern would be great for that. However, that omnidirectional, that big circle that you see right there on the bottom part of that selector, that's the one that really intrigues me, because Katie and I, as you've seen on the YouTube channel many times, we're always talking back and forth with each other. And one of the things we run into all the time is I might be talking to her, but you can't hear me. She's on the other side of the camera. You hear her perfectly. Enough of me talking. Let's test it out. So I want to show you another cool thing about this microphone is that when I talk, it hears me equally on this side as it does from you on that side. So that way it's not like really quiet on this side. And so that means I can interview you and yeah.
And when I'm holding the camera, I can tell you jokes and stuff and you won't be like, that's not going to be in the video.
Yeah, exactly. Like whatever jokes you want to tell.
Can I tell you a knock knock joke?
Yeah, I guess.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Impatient cow.
Oh God. Okay, impatient.
Moo!
Anyway, so also one of the things about this camera is it has a built-in shock absorber. So the real question is, how does it sound? I live in downtown Boise on a pretty busy street, and there's lawnmowers going off. I've got the settings to auto. I made sure that it's directional, so it's looking directly at me, and we'll see how this sounds. Okay, just as a test, I put it still in auto, but I put that noise canceling NC, I think that's what it stands for, just to see if it knocks out some of the background cars that are passing by. Okay, same thing, noise canceling on. I'm gonna do the omnidirectional just to see what it does with that. And I'm gonna spin it 180 degrees to kind of get that interview. We'll try it out. Let's see. At me, 180 degrees. Let's see if it sounds the same. It should sound the same. All right, enough backyard stuff. We're gonna go to the park and see how it works with birds. The next test is to obviously take it out into the field and see how it does on the big lens. Now this is huge because this is a tiny little camera, and usually I use the big Rode NTG microphone. Now, interesting, there is, I'm gonna turn it around, a waterfall right behind us. So you can probably hear that. I said waterfall. It's just a drainage pipe. But you can hear that. It's really loud. This is a tough challenge, Sony. Let's see if you're up for it. Say?
I said, who's Tony?
Not Tony, Sony.
Oh.
At $250, it's hard to beat this because it's kind of a jack of all trades. A device that's a jack of all trades, they might say master of none, but it's pretty darn good. And if it means that I'm not carrying around external preamps, having to remember to charge up microphones when I go out. I'm not having to carry different types of microphones because I can get omnidirectional, supercardioid, and the straight shotgun style microphone. That's a huge bonus. When you're out in the field and you're carrying around a bunch of gear, it helps to minimize a little bit. So let me sum it up by saying this. Is this the best option for every situation? The answer, of course, is no. If I want extreme environmental sounds, I'm probably going to set up an external preamp. I'm going to set up some microphones that are out in the field. I'm going to have XLR cables. I'm going to have an external battery power source, and that's probably going to get me the best sound. But that's a huge pain in the ass. That's not what we're talking about, guys. We're talking about a run and gun microphone that goes anywhere all the time, that gives you the options to do a lot of different things. And if that's what we're talking about, this wins out every single time. And for that reason, that's why I'm gonna have a couple of these mounted on my cameras. It just makes things easier. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. If you're interested in purchasing one of these, try out my affiliate link. Once again, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.